Hi, Neil Heather, thank you for coming along. You're the creative director of Storm Creative, and we've been talking today about supply-induced demand and how you can manage the way people use health services at different times. You designed the Yellow Man campaign to influence the way people use or choose which services they're going to use for different types of acute symptoms. Can you tell us a bit about how you came up with the idea of the Yellow Man?
Out of North East London, CCG came to us and, CSU came to us, and they wanted to create a campaign along the lines of the Choices campaign. But the Choices campaign, it was currently a bit kind of advisory, maybe a little bit wishy-washy, something of more impact, something that would actually have a call to action. We also wanted an extra dimension to the campaign, something that would give the people something to interact with. So we come up with lots of different ideas to start off with, from using famous stars such as Rick Mao actually in waiting rooms as a more impatient a doctor seeing people, and he would then tell them that they shouldn't be there, in kind of reflection or response to the Vinnie Jones type of idea that was going on at the time, the commercial that came out for the Saving Lives. So, but then we wanted to sort of tie it back a bit and make it something a little bit more fashionable and something that a little bit of a dimension on it. So what we actually put together is an anti-Gormley-esque campaign of these 7-foot structures, these men. Each one of these men would have a different ailment. Whether it be, and each one of those ailments would correspond to a colour. For instance, one of the men was laying spark unconscious on the floor, with crosses over his eyes in red, and we're trying to align people to the correct usage of the services, whether it be self-help, GP, whether it be actually going to A&E, and then reduce the burden. So we sent out street teams at these events, but prior to these events we would do ambient marketing. It would be online, offline. Ambient marketing can still be Facebook marketing, for instance, so people would see it when they're engaged around them, whether they're walking to the bus stop and seeing buses go past, or driving past the bus stop, to the point when they would actually be engaging with their social media, and this would jump out of them. So what we actually managed to do is one sort of called case point was when we were at Woolwich. We put together a handout, the Yellow Man, but it followed an outreach campaign. It followed a ambient campaign, and we were giving away sort of 6,000 people actually, 8,000 people actually came and engaged with us and took those leaflets because they'd seen it, they'd understood it, and they wanted to find out more about how they could actually help themselves.
And I think you had all the Yellow Men placed out in the main square in Woolwich, didn't you? We did,
yeah, we did. I mean, our very first launch for ONEL was Spitalfields Market. It was the first launch. It caused quite a stir. We had the BBC down there, we had ITV, we got coverage in the Metro. So with Column Inches, because we actually went out and touched the people, as it were, went to go and see the people, rather than just relying on TV, of expensive TV advertising or radio or something. What we wanted to do is something more grassroots level that could actually engage.
And after the background research you did for that campaign, what did you see as the main problems that you were trying to address through the Yellow Man campaign?
One of the main problems that trying to address was the fact that there were so many different services for people to engage with. We found time and time again that people didn't actually understand the minor injury units, walk-in centres. Some walk-in centres did different things, different other walk-in centres, some minor injuries, and then 111 came out on top of it. So we were educating people as the requirements, as the services evolved as well. And what we heard time and time again is that there was 3 main sort of places that people thought they would go to, which would be, not the pharmacy, but a chemist. They call it a chemist. And then perhaps if they don't go to the chemist, they go to see their doctor, and if they don't see the doctor, they see A&E. Now, there is a growing understanding of walk-in centres, and people are starting to use those with maybe young children or the older demographic. It is actually working. So they are good things, but I think that people didn't really understand the multitude of different services that have been put in front of them. So that was quite hard to educate them, and that's what our leaflet's intended to do, show them the services and how you could access them.
And we talked during the seminar today about ways that you might change people's thinking about how they respond when they suffer from perhaps less serious illnesses like coughs and colds. Can you tell us a bit about some of the main ideas you were arguing about in that kind of campaign?
Yes, yeah, I think arguing may be the right point as well. I mean, there's clinicians who have very set ideas on what they want to deliver and how they're delivering it, and then there's me coming from a very commercial side, a background about delivering a return on investment, and maybe that return on investment is on time or maybe it's on cost. But what we need to do is we need to educate people. And just take A&E for instance on its own. A&E, you have 4 hours when someone potentially, maybe longer, will wait in A&E. And that's my capture time, to educate them. So when they get there, I want them to think about the campaign. It was a rough idea, a very rough concept put together, but think is the word. We want them to think about why they're there, why they went there in the first place, and then engage and pick up a leaflet that tells them where else they should be. For instance, there might be videos, there might be leaflets, there might be posters. There may even be maybe it's part of sentry duty for young doctors who have to do the rounds up and down and saying, "Oh, what are you here for?" And almost like triage, pre-triage, or something, where people actually get to be seen. And maybe they're handing out these think maps with your local walk-in centre or local pharmacies. So I know you could actually just go and get a bottle of Cavonia for that or something. So there's loads of ways you can do it, but we need to educate the public. And it is kind of on the borders through embarrassment, but embarrassment will then deliver education, because no one wants to be embarrassed twice, and that's the idea. So we deliver it. First, they might feel put out, they might feel embarrassed, but there's always bound to be, you know, as we said, a bit of collateral damage when you do that, but education is more importantly. And those, even if we change 1% of the market, the savings in time and financially will be astronomical.
Okay, thank you. And I think your slides are going to be available, the slides which illustrate some of those ideas and the simplicity of the think message will be available on the website. So thank you very much for talking to us today.
It's been a pleasure, thank you.